Hey Joey, it is nearly the end of the year. Hopefully it is before the end of the year when you see this, or that will be embarrassing for me. But throughout the year, I went through some reading slumps. I went through some high book buying months, and my TBR had kind of ballooned out of control. At the end of last year, I believe that I filmed and posted a video, if I did I'll link it, where I was trying to get my TBR down to 30% of the books on my shelves. So basically only 30% being unread and the other 70% being read or in another category. And I did that. Yay! And then promptly, after receiving books for Christmas, you know, things happen, I was not. I was no longer at 30%. And then I think at one point I was at like nearly 40% and I was like, holy moly. So I've been really good the last like 2 months and I've read a bunch of books off my TBR. Let's see how many. I should have pulled this up ahead of time. It's like I don't even know what I'm doing. Yes, in October I read 15 books off my TBR. And now that does include books that I purchased and read in that month, but basically the same thing. And then in November I read 17 books off my TBR. So that might give you some idea of how bad it had gotten. We are to the point where after my diligent work the last 2 months, I am in a place where I can get back to 30% for the end of the year, just in time to receive probably more books again for the winter holiday. But that will not stop me from getting there in the first place. So if I have done my calculations correctly, am I gonna expose myself right now? Yeah, sure, why not? We're honest here. I own 656 books, and in order for the unread percentage of those books to be 30%, it's like 196.8, which I'm calling 197. I currently have 201 unread books, which is like 30 point something percent, right? And so if I read 4 books, I think I'll be at 30%. That does mean that in the time it takes me to film and finish this video, I can't buy any more books or the video will continue, right? So we'll see what happens. I never know when a book is gonna come into my possession. All of that to say, I'm gonna read 4 or more books in this video to try and get my unread percentage down to 30% for the end of the year. And right now I'm gonna tell you about the first 2 books that we're gonna read. So the first one is actually currently marked as currently reading on my TBR spreadsheet, and that is A Pirate's Life for Tea. This is book 2 in the Cozy Tomes and Tea something series. Tomes and Tea might just be the name of the series. About these 2 former guard and like high sorceress who are in love and run a tea shop, and in a tea shop slash bookshop. And in the first book, we like experience them starting the tea shop, and then there arises a conflict. And so we're continuing to deal with the conflict and whatnot in this. It's marked as currently reading because at the end of the audiobook for the first one, I got to read the first like chapter or 2. Like they like read it to me. They were like, here's a preview. And I just got the audiobook for this from the library last night. So when I go to work tomorrow, I plan on listening to this. So I will update you maybe at lunch tomorrow, and then when I get home, I anticipate reading this tomorrow. The book that I'm gonna read right now with my eyeballs and the last 2 hours of my evening is Gear Breakers by Zoe Hanamakuta? Zoe Hanamakuta, I think? This was a gift from you, Joey, last Christmas. Maybe 2 Christmases ago. During a winter holiday season at some point in the past, and I was just looking at my TBR cart trying to decide what to read, and this is what my boyfriend chose for me to read. So I'm gonna read it right now. You really enjoyed it. There's a second one, and so I'm gonna start this right now, and I will let you know where I get to tonight and what I'm thinking of it at that point. I have read 102 pages, basically. We're following these 2 girls, one of which was orphaned and then got taken in by the like capital city in this sort of like dystopian sci-fi future Earth situation where after humans stopped believing in gods, they sort of fell apart, and so then they had to make up new gods, and they made them in the form of these like mech suits, but then the mech suits could still be defeated, so then they put people in them because people made them better. But now there are these people called Gear Breakers, and that's who our second girl is. And they can like climb up inside the suits and dismantle them from the inside. So like basically like, yeah, whatever. There's a commentary going on there, but I haven't reached it yet fully. Anywho's, our Gearbreaker girl, her name is Eris, is like working with her team and has been doing it since she was like 14, and now she's 17. And that's sort of her deal. And then our other girl was orphaned and taken into the academy to be like brought up to be wound, because the mech suit things are called wind-ups. So she was like raised and prepped and primed to be wound to a wind-up, and part of that involves them being like modified in a way. They get like gears put in and like all this stuff. It's scary. So that they can be basically like plugged in to their wind-up. There are several different kinds, like berserkers and other ones, and Valkyries, which is what she is. Phantoms is one of them that we just learned about. And they all like serve different purposes, but she's a Valkyrie, which is like the best fighty, quickest one. And it's like special that she got straight into that one and didn't have to start in a different like company first. But here's the surprise. I don't know if we talk about this on the back of the book, so it might be slight spoilers. So if you're worried about it, this is your warning. She actually hates the people who like raised her and brought her up because they murdered her whole family and her whole town. But they don't know that. And so she's trying to like basically bring them down from the inside. And so they are about to meet and they're gonna start doing that, bringing the system down. So exciting stuff. The second book is called Godslayers, if that gives you any indication about what we're doing here. And interestingly enough, Eris, our Gearbreaker, has a boyfriend. Oh, the other one's name is Sona. Sona? I think Sona. She has like a full name, but she goes by Sona. But yeah, Eris has a boyfriend, but she's been separated from her party, so we bout to fall in love. We bout to enemies to lovers, but actually not enemies because actually we have the same goal. I'm so excited. It has been several days. The last time we spoke, I believe I had just finished 102 pages of Gearbreakers. Since then, I have not read any more of this. I had some car troubles and just sort of didn't have the bandwidth to be reading. But the day after the clip that you just saw, I did listen to all of A Pirate's Life for Tea. These are fun. I like them. They are labeled as cozy fantasies, and people in the Goodreads reviews, and to this I would agree, have said that they're not really cozy in the way that genre description is supposed to mean. Cozy to me means like there aren't really stakes, like we're not worried about people dying and whatnot, and there are stakes in these. Like there are some life or death scenarios that we're in, but in this one, because this is book 2, we introduce 2 new characters, like a new couple, and we get to see their sort of journey and our characters from the last one impact them during that time. I won't say too much because I don't, it's no spoilies, right? Sorry, I just realized that there's a little art. That's cute. I love that. So I gave that 4.5 stars, I think. Listened to it. It was good. I like the audiobooks for those. I don't own the third one. There's a third one. I think it's Tea with the Altar. Cute. I think there's gonna be more, but so those are fun. Just kind of like, so you would think that now that I'm sitting here in front of you, I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna keep reading Gearbreakers, but I'm not. I am going to in this video. You will see me finish that. But in this exact moment, I'm gonna read Holly by Adeline Grace. This is the Belladonna novella set during the holiday time. What I think is fun about this is that it is like formatted in such a way that even though it's a novella, they like made it look full size, because that's the thing that I don't always love about a novella, is that like it's like itty bitty teeny tiny. But this is like 300 or so pages, almost 400 pages, but it's because they like did all of this formatting stuff and there are like pictures and stuff. So I'm excited to read it. It is in like green ink, which I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that with my eyeballs, but I think that I audiobooked these, but I don't want to have to wait for the audiobook if it's not available on any of the platforms. If it is available on any of the platforms, might listen to it while I crochet and stuff, but I've had a very Christmassy day. We like finished up our Christmas shopping, wrapped gifts, put on a holiday candle, listened to holiday music, all the stuff. So I want to read a holiday book, and I have like not a ton of bandwidth still, because as we're like ramping closer to the holidays, I don't always have it. So I'm gonna read this because it's gonna be fun, and I already know who these people are and their pictures, and it's really like big text. I can't tell you anything about this because this is set after the whole trilogy, and so anything I would say would be spoilers about how the trilogy ended, but I will let you know how I feel about it at the end. I don't rate novellas, but I'll at least tell you how I'm feeling about it. We will still finish Gearbreakers in this video, and something else. Day it is. I don't know when I last talked to you. I don't know anything. But I did end up finishing Holly. I really liked it. I think that if you didn't love that series and those books, there's no reason for you to read them. I made the mistake of looking at Goodreads reviews and like all of them were bad because they were like, I don't get the point. It's a novella. It's for fun. That made me mad. But I have not read a ton over the last few days because I don't know. I don't know why. Because when I wasn't telling you about all the TBR books I was reading, I was doing a really great job. And maybe it's because I read so many of them that now I want to read other stuff, or maybe it's because now I'm being held accountable and for some reason I want to push back against that. Anywhoozy, I'm reading Gearbreakers. I picked up the camera just now to say all of this because we just learned one of the side characters' names is Arson Thiefson. Crime son? Crime son. And I think that is hilarious. And so far, we haven't explicitly said that that's a made-up name. And I think that's funny that anyone would ever be named that. Most of them are orphans, so maybe he made it up. I don't know. But it's so funny. Anywho, I'm gonna keep reading. Goodbye. Okay, I have read to page 259. We're about to start the next leg of our adventure, so I'm gonna stop for today. I'm having a lot of fun. Boys are dumb, but not you, Terry. You're not dumb. At least not in the exact moment, but you are kind of dumb sometimes. I'm sorry. I think the next book I'm gonna read is The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore, and I might start that during my work day tomorrow. So if I tell you something about that, that is that. I am obviously not able to get up and get the book and show it to you, but I do promise that I do own it. But I'm gonna probably read it on my Kindle. Another day has come and gone, and I have an update from Not Today for you. I read 80 pages of The Gingerbread Bakery yesterday on my Kindle, but I do have the physical copy here because that is the point of the video. I am about to go get ready for bed and get in bed and then have about 12 minutes before it's time for me to go to bed, but I may read 20 more pages. My cat's attacking my shoe. And if I do that, I will tell you about it tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow I will also have read something else, but probably not because I have a D&D session to go to with my friends. And I'm gonna see you, Joey, in real life, which will have happened by the time that you see this now. But if you want an inside look at the timeline of this video, that is that day. So I didn't read anything at work today. I have discovered that I will need to read a 5th book though. So perchance I will listen to something at work. Not super likely. It's so dead and slow at work. I don't foresee that happening, but maybe, and I'll let you know. I listened to a whole book at work yesterday and I didn't tell you about it, obviously, because I was at work and I didn't have you there with me. And I didn't know I was gonna start that book, so I didn't tell you about it beforehand. But I read and finished Three Dark Crowns. I do own this book. It's on the top shelf and I can't reach it. I have to get the ladder out. It's like a whole thing. So maybe I will get it out later and I will show you at the end of the video. But for right now, I read that book. So we're making good progress. We've read 3 of the 5 books we need to read. Because again, we thought it was gonna be 4, but it is actually 5 because I'm bad at math. Anywho, I read that. It starts off clunky. So the premise of this book is that there are 3 triplet girls born to the queen and then they become queen, but in order to become queen, they have to kill 2 of their sisters. So like, it's like mini Hunger Games, but with just the 3 queens. And each of them has like a power specialty. There's the naturalists who do like growing things, animals, that kind of thing. Poisoners, pretty self-explanatory. They are immune to poison and can also poison people. And elementalists who can control the elements, great. So we're following them and we're in each of their POVs, but because of that, there's like 47 background characters we also have to know because each of them has their own cast of background characters. And so like introducing the place that they're from and their background characters and who they are and whatever started out really, really clunky. I ended up bumping it all the way to 3 times speed because I was like, I almost DNF'd it at 30%. It did come back around at the end because of like, we did like hint nicely at some things, like I picked up on it mostly, so that was nice. I probably will eventually read the second one, but I don't own it right now, so I'm gonna wait until I can get it at a used bookstore. I have one complaint about it. Well, I clearly just complained about it, but I have an additional complaint. My biggest complaint was that, we're following 3 queens who are teens. This is a YA novel. And the first chapter is in the POV, like, head of one of the queens. The second chapter in the whole book is following the second queen, but from her best friend's point of view. Why? The best friend's really important, like, and we could have moved into the best friend's point of view for the second chapter following this queen, but the fact that the first time we meet her is not from her own perspective when the other two we do meet from their own perspectives was weird. Yeah, that's the update on that. I have not read any more Gearbreakers. I read like 35 pages of The Gingerbread Bakery, which is what I told you I was gonna do last time we spoke, but that's all I've read of that. I was supposed to read today, but I didn't end up doing it. I had a program to watch, and now I have to go to a party. So I will read more tomorrow, hopefully. I'm hoping to finish Gearbreakers this weekend, and then hopefully also The Gingerbread Bakery in the near future. So hopefully I will be seeing you with the end of books here soon. I finished Gearbreakers last night. I liked it. I actually haven't decided what I've rated it yet because I didn't put it on my Goodreads or in my spreadsheet. I think it's a 4. I liked it. I liked the setup. I am scared for the implications of the ending on the next one. I hope I will read it in the new year. So that's 4 books complete. So our last book that I need to finish is The Gingerbread Bakery. And if I just like locked in, I only have like 200 pages left, I could be done in like 2 hours. Am I gonna do that? I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying just sort of rotting on my couch and not using my brain. And to be fair, I don't have to use a ton of my brain to read this book, but my Kindle is upstairs. And I've been reading it on my Kindle. And do I have the book right here in front of me? Yes. I just don't know. This is like a second chance, but with animosity sort of romance situation. And we've been doing the same thing for the last like 5 chapters. And there's a then and now perspective also, which is fun, but it means that the task we're currently on is taking longer because we cut back in time every chapter, like every other chapter. So anywho, hopefully I can finish that book today because then I can edit this and upload it and you will get to see it. I did it. It's the same day, you can tell because I'm wearing the same thing. I finished the book, which means we're officially under 30%. Let me pull up the data. Yes, with the completion of both Gearbreakers yesterday and The Gingerbread Bakery today, my unread percentage of my bookshelves is 29.88%. Now, just to expose myself, I don't remember if I told you when I started this video, but Christmas is now in 4 days. And I know I'm getting at least 4 books for Christmas that I have not read. So it's gonna go back up, but next year, I'm gonna be more on top of it. It's gonna be more forward in my mind. Am I actually gonna be able to keep on top of it? I don't know. But hopefully I will be able to buy less books and read more of the ones that I own. But I bet I said that when I did this last year. So anywho, as a wrap up of what I read, try and manage my physical TBR is A Pirate's Life for Tea. I audiobooked this. I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I finished, I should have put these in a better order, Holly by Adeline Grace. This is a novella. Then I finished 3 Dark Crowns, also audiobooked this. I gave this 3 stars, but I'm hoping the rest of them are better. Then I finished Gearbreakers. I'm giving this 4 stars, maybe 4.25. I'm still kind of deciding on that. Haven't inputted it into the spreadsheet yet, so nothing is set in stone. And then The Gingerbread Bakery. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I like all of these. This one, it was like a second chance sort of thing, but she hated him because she's been holding a grudge for 11 years. And I'm not saying that her grudge was not justified, but if she would have just heard him out, I feel like we wouldn't have had to go through all of this. So if you're not Joey and you're not subscribed, feel free to do so. I read books here, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.